And now right here in the USA, watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Welcome. This is Universal Pathways, and I'm your host, Curtis Douglas Ill. And today I have the honor to be in the studio with Sheikess Emilie Nader-Bey. How you doing, beloved?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Excellent.
She's the National Secretary of the United Moorish Science Temple of America. She's also the Secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America, New York. And she's the co-founder of Balanced Body and Beyond, a holistic and wellness company that pretty much teach people how to live more so from a holistic perspective. She consults as well as pertains to that. She just so happened to actually be one of the honorees, the 2026 honoree for the Young, Gifted, and Black Entrepreneurial Awards, which is an awards that happened for the past 21 years right here in New York, in Queens specifically, that honors community leaders. We know as Moors that we're not Black, yet Prophet Noble Drali made sure that we ourselves as Moorish Americans, we got to be in those areas with fez and turbans on to educate those who might not be conscientious of certain terminology. So with that being said, again, she is going to be receiving the Community and Service and Mentorship and Leadership Awards by way of that demonstration as well. So honors to Mr. Carl Gray. He's the CEO and chairman of the Young Gifted, the YGB Awards, Entrepreneurial Awards and Gala Celebration. So with that being said, welcome.
Thank you.
This is actually our first live interview here in 2026. And this is the second time that Sheikess Emilie Nader-Bey is back on the show. And it's truly an honor to be here with you today. A lot of times in life, we do different things, and the question becomes, what is the motivation as to why we do what we do, right? And we call that the why. So I just want to start off by asking you, can you share with us the moment in your life, our season in your life, growing up, when you realized your path was one of service, order, and upliftment, rather than just a personal ambition alone? Can you speak to that?
Sure. My why, it was a season. It wasn't a moment.
It was a season. Okay.
It was a season, and it started maybe about 15 years ago, where, I had an experience riding the New York subway, where the train was a little crowded, and there was a group of young high school students, all of them female, and they were behaving in a vulgar manner. And ones were watching, and I was just observing. And there was a gentleman sitting down, and his eye kept catching my eye. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, wow, our children seem lost. They need help. And, the train started to less and less people on, and all the girls were sitting down in seats. The young girl, there was just one girl, she sat right next to me. And the man across the street, whose eyes had been catching mine, he looked right at her, and he called out her name, and he said, "I'm going to call your mother and tell her how you're behaving on this train. Mm-hmm. You're acting like you're Black." Mm. And I went, oh. And I said, wow. Because growing up where I grew up, as a child, I was raised in, on the island of Haiti. Okay. We didn't use those terms. Mm-hmm. Black, what is that? Negro, color, what is that? Mm-hmm. It was never even a thought. Indeed. We were just growing up. Everybody pretty much looked alike. We all got along. No one was better than the other. And it was a village, Yes. It was a village, and everyone had respect for everyone else. And, we trusted our neighbors. Correct. Most of the time we kept our doors open. So you could leave your door open anytime, and you didn't have to be concerned about it. But as I watched these children, it sometimes it grieves my spirit to think that, they seem lost. Uh-huh. They need direction. They need assistance. They need guidance. They need a lot of support and encouragement. So that's my why for doing what I do. I need to leave this planet a better place, for the young and the yet unborn.
Totally makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense
Yes.
a lot. And just to speak briefly to our listening audience, because if one is saying, how can she today be a Moorish American, yet she came out with the island called Haiti? How can I be a Moorish American? I came by way of the island today called Jamaica, you know, in some aspects, Jamaica, prior to quote unquote colonization. So just looking from that perspective, we're speaking prior to colonization, just like it was at the Berlin Conference that they divvy up Africa, the continent itself, and start to now section off in pieces. So with Moorish Americans, or just Moors in general, think the fez and the turban, it is our duty to teach correct history. Why? If we don't know our true history, then we're bound to repeat it. And that's the issue with the planet right now. So we go back prior to, it is said that the Moorish flag is over what?
10,000 years old.
Over 10,000 years old. So we're speaking about a history that's over 10,000 years old. But we see the Moroccan flag today, and it's similar. It's basically the same imagery of that as the Moorish flag. Can you explain that briefly for those that might be a little bit perplexed?
It's similar. If I'm correct, it was changed years ago. Before
Let
we met.
me interject. Not necessarily changed, but I'll say it this way. 1956 is when Morocco received its independence.
Yes.
However, in 1928, 29, and the 1920s, the 1913s, here in America, 1913, the Moorish Science Temple of America was founded, right?
Islam. Yes.
And the flag was here in America. So the question is, how can the flag be here in America? It clearly predates the 1956 demonstration
Yes.
of Morocco today receiving their independence from the French. So we're not speaking about the current Morocco. We're speaking about ancient Morocco, as in here in America, we're in the Moroccan Empire. We're speaking about an empire that fell. It was the Moroccan Empire that fell here in America, 1492. Jamaica was a part of that empire. Haiti was a part of that empire. So when the Prophet Noble Drew, for instance, said, why are we Moorish Americans? We're descendants of Moroccans, the empire born in America. So empires have different nation state as a part of it. And that's a part of what we need to teach as a people.
Yes.
So one could say there's certain slight quote unquote differences as to how the Moorish flag looked today and the Moroccan flag. But in aspect, it's a red flag with a 5-point green star in the center. Correct?
Yes. Correct.
Indeed.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to clarify that for some of our listening audience who might be thinking, the nation state that I grew up in, Jamaica. The nation state that she grew up in, Haiti, partially. The nation state, empire-wise, united, that we're a part of today, is America. America has 50 states, but America itself has a north, a south, central, the adjoining islands, which we call and known are the Atlantis Island, which is where the Caribbean lies. So that is the Americas. So we're speaking anciently, not modern. And with everything that is anciently, that's ancestral. So we cannot change the nature of who we are ancestrally. For instance, can a duck stop being a duck?
Not that I'm aware of.
What if a duck start acting like a chicken?
I'd be concerned.
You'd be concerned. But that's the reality today. We got to be concerned because the people branded black is a construct that came as a result of slavery. Slavery was practiced here in America dominantly from 1774, typically the stripping, but 1779 until 1865.
1865, yes.
Right? So with that being said, I just wanted to clarify that a little bit as we go deeper into the question.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay. And that's very important. Why? My next question kind of touched on the divinity. With yourself being a Sheikess secretary, a national secretary in this movement, the movement is a divine and national movement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So divine law in our daily life, as a national secretary and secretary on the temple level, you operate where divine law meets practical administration. How do you consciously apply the 5 highest principles known to man, which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, in your everyday decisions?
The short answer, moment by moment.
Okay, but
however,
we still want to get
of course, that's the short answer. Yes. I have to be an example for what it is that I have to be as a Moorish American.
Okay.
I'm held to a high standard of living, and I have to live by those 5 principles, those 5 highest principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And divinity comes first. If I'm not right within, it's not going to show on the outside. I have to remain peaceful. I have to remain loving, be truthful, be free to be myself, and always know that, just to be just and right. And in that capacity, all these titles, I mean, I think sometimes I think to myself, who are they talking about when they call all these titles? It's me. And it's what I've been prepared for.
Okay.
So I have to hold myself to a higher standard. Ones are looking at me, ones are watching me. Sometimes you would be surprised where you're at and you don't think anyone's watching. You don't think anybody notices, but they do.
But even in what you just said earlier, you spoke about being on the train and what you observed.
Yes.
And the comment was, you're acting black.
Yes.
So there's such a thing as acting black.
Yes.
Now, how can someone from a Caribbean perspective know the difference? You see, North America, something specifically happened in North America that's now becoming permeated throughout the globe. Because for the first time in history, the latter part of our current making of history, you have people now who think they're a color as opposed to a pedigree, specifically a national flag in a nation that governs that people. So what happens now if Italians forget to be Italians? Germans forget to be Germans. And they now decided to call themselves, let's say, pale people. And that's it. So now, if you now put them in one category, pale people, how do you now differentiate the Germans from the Italians? How do you know? How do you write books and tell their story? It become an impossibility. Because after a generation or two, the younger generation, they don't make that connection. Yes. But it's the same thing that was happening in that train demonstration as you were observing.
Yes, it was.
You see how it kind of comes back to that?
Yes.
There are those who know the distinction. So kind of speak to that a little bit.
Well, coming here at a very early age, my dad would always tell us, don't follow what other people are doing. He said, here, the black people in America behave differently. And he always told us, just be yourself. Be yourself. And for a long time as a child, I didn't know what that meant. Be myself. Be myself. What do you mean be myself? And as I grew up and I said, oh, stand out.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay to be different. I see a lot of these children nowadays, they dress alike and, they're all wearing the same fashion. They're all trying to come into this group and they look like clones. And to stand out, they're fearful of that.
But standing out, connect the standing out with the divinity. You see, that's really where I'm getting at, right? The standing out has to be connected with the divinity. Why? Because the human state, as we know it, it describes a being.
Yes.
It says human describe the being. So we go to school to learn and build our character, right?
Okay.
So there are people on the planet that has a divine character.
Yes.
And it was known anciently. That's why these 5 principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. For ones in the East practicing Islam, they have the 5 pillars, right?
Yes.
But now beyond pillars, we have principles. The highest level in a school, what is it called?
The principal.
The principal. Why is the principal the highest level?
He has the authority.
He or she has the authority because he or she must be the what?
The
example.
Have to be the example.
The example. In a house, who must be the example for the children?
Mother and father.
Mother and father. So in regards to nation, the nation becomes a state based on their customs and what is it that they're known for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And based on where geography they were located. So that's really what we're speaking to pertain to that. So when we say divinity, again, and I don't mean to be harping on this, but it's very important. Speak to the divinity. Who's teaching us to be who we are? It is says in Moorish science, how did the prophet, we're speaking about Prophet Noble Drali, begin to uplift the Moorish Americans is by teaching them to be themselves. How do you teach a people who don't know they have a divine origin, that they're divine?
You have to help them to remember.
Mm.
They have to remember their origin. Not 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. You have to remember from your ancestors. That has to be taught, because all the books in America and a lot of our history has been hidden, has been changed, has been convoluted.
Interesting.
So ones don't remember.
Remember. There's a very valid point here that we just want to own a little bit. There's a break in the descent line.
Yes.
So in other words, the melanated people fell as Moors.
Yes, they did.
But how did they get up as black? How did they get up as Negro? How did they get up as colored? If you fell as a Moor, you can only get up as a Moor.
That's
if
right.
you fell down, scratches, knocked your head, right? You fell down, knocked your head, you got up. You fell down as Emilie Nader-Bey. Can you get up as Sandra Pulcrum?
Absolutely not.
But let's say you got up as Sandra Pulcrum, and I now know the knowledge, calling you Sandra Pulcrum. You have amnesia. Everybody else reinforcing the lie. That's what you mentioned. The schools, the miseducation,
Yes.
the families, the generational separation. And that kind of becomes like people going around thinking that they're crayons.
Yes. We're not crayons.
So the divinity matters.
Absolutely. It matters. Like I said, we have to remember. And how do you remember? Well, we have Prophet Noble Drali, who came and brought us the teachings. And ones have to be ready to receive.
What do you mean by that?
You have to be ready to receive. If you're asking the questions, like me as a small child, I was always asking questions. And I would keep asking the same question over and over until I got an answer. And most of the time, it didn't come from a human being. It came from within.
What do you mean by that?
It came from within. I would go in my room and I would just sit down and I would just, why this? Why that? What is going on? I need answers to this. And
Give us an example. Yeah, give us an example.
Okay. There was a time where I was in a relationship
Mhm.
and things weren't going great. And I said, okay, give me a sign. And when the sign came, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. The person bought me a piece of jewelry, and I lost the piece of jewelry that they gave me, and it had a date on it, date when we started going out, so on and so forth. And I lost the piece of jewelry. At the moment, I didn't see that as being the sign.
Okay.
It was only when I went and sat down and I was just reflecting and just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, that was my sign. And like I said, it has to come from inside. You have to have a relationship with Allah, with your creator, with, God, called by 99 names, whatever you call him, you have to have that relationship. It's an inner thing. It's not an outward thing. I can't go to Curtis and say, well, Curtis, I'm having this relationship. You think I should leave? You're not going to answer me. You're not going to give me the answer that I'm looking for.
Okay.
You may tell me to stay, and I may be feeling something within me that's like, I got to go. And there are oftentimes a lot of things that we ask other people for when we really don't need to. You just need to go inside. And what I mean by go inside is go inside and have that heart to heart. Have that talk. Go inside your mind and go inside your heart and just be at peace. And the answer will come. And I know in the past I've asked questions. None of them are coming to me right now, but I've asked questions and I've literally seen the answer on the side of a bus. I've seen it on the side of a bus and I went, wow, okay, thank you for that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. And if you hear me speak and I'm only giving some support to the commentary or being more of a commentary in what you're saying. Reflection is the business of men.
Yes, it is.
So when you say going inside, reflect.
Yes.
And many times as people, we tend to act without thinking first.
Yes.
And going inside, you're dealing with your thoughts.
Yes.
You're dealing with the inner aspect of who you are, the being, right?
That's right.
So it's ultimately the being that's leading your life.
Yes.
And the being from a place of wisdom and making decision that doesn't harm anybody else.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So those children, for instance, with uniforms on, right? Inside the train,
Yes.
they're examples causing harm.
Yes.
And that's why the gentleman was like, hey, I know your parents. Who's the parents of black people? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Someone knew who was here in North America, South America, Central America, and the adjoining islands, the Caribbean islands, Jamaica, Haiti, etc., prior to colonization. Now, whoever tells the story cannot hide who we are because we're not being taught by the very people who colonized.
That's right.
So now the divinity got stripped.
Yes, it did.
Because if someone remembers that they're divine being and they have these principles and they can do what you're saying, they can actually now govern themselves.
Yes, they can.
That's kind of scary for people who's trying to control you.
Well, everybody has the capacity to go within. I encourage everyone to go within and to reflect. How are you going to grow? How are you going to know what your true purpose is? You must go inside. You have to. That's where your divinity is. It's not outward. It's not outward show. It's not your clothes. Not your car. It's not your house. It's not your friends.
So you're speaking about the spirit that animates us. The
Absolutely.
very energy. Some call it energy.
Yes, some call it energy. Some call it a spirit.
Life.
Life, whatever you call it. That's what should be governing. That's where you ought to go first.
Divine principles.
Divine principles.
Virtues.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Virtuous sister, Sheikess Emilie Nader-Bey. Wow. All right. So I like that. That's great. So it kind of taps into now discipline. Now that one's realized they have a higher calling, a higher purpose, a higher state of being, the divinity, the wisdom. You have 20 years of experience as a legal secretary.
Yes.
That's a lot. 20 years. An arena that demands precision, confidence, structure, etc. How has that professional discipline strengthened your ability to serve the temple and community effectively?
Well, let's start with precision. I see precision as being focused. And in alignment with precision, you have to have that discipline that, that animates your being. You have to be disciplined in all that you do. There are aspects of working that I've gained over the years, over those 20 years. I've gained a lot of experiences, good, bad, and indifferent. And they're all, teaching me something. And I've learned a lot of lessons. And in those lessons, it's helped me to be a better me.
Okay.
The other day I was in Starbucks and I ordered a coffee and the woman wrote on the cup, "Be your best version today. Be the best version of you today." And I went, oh, okay. See, like I said, these little messages will come to you. You just have to be aware. Pay attention. Stay focused, and those messages will come to you. And you're, oh, okay. So it kind of shifts you when you get these messages. That kind of put a little pep in my step as I was going into the office today, because I was already mentally preparing for the day, and I know I had a lot to do in a 8-hour window. So focus is very important, and to be disciplined, it's like self-governing. To be disciplined takes effort. Like I said, you have to be focused and stay in alignment with who you really are, and you know you have a purpose, stay in alignment with that.
So that's kind of speak to the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
It sure does.
And what is that again?
Those 5 principles, that 5 highest principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you can build
What is the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
to uplift fallen humanity,
And that's how you do it.
one by one,
Okay.
one by one, and it starts with me.
Start with you.
Starts with me.
Wow.
I got to be an example.
Indeed. We got to be an example, people. So with that being said, we're going to go to a commercial. And right after that commercial, we'll continue this interview with Sheikess Emilie Nader-Bey of the United Moorish Science Temple of America, a non-sectarian demonstration right here in America, as well as she's also the secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America, New York. We'll be right back after this commercial. I'm your host, Curtis Douglas here. Welcome, viewers in America and those worldwide. This is Universal Pathway, and I'm your host, Curtis Douglas here. With our show, viewers get to hear our guests share their life lessons from a universal perspective so others can benefit. You can view us live at MillenniumTV24.com Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on all iOS and Android devices via our app. You can also view us on all smart TVs, Sony, Samsung, LG, also on Amazon, Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, Horizon Satellite, and most social media such as Facebook and YouTube. Please encourage others to come and view us with an open mind. Welcome back. This is Universal Pathways, and I'm your host, Curtis Douglas Ill. Today I have the privilege and honor to be in the studio with the National Secretary of the United Moorish Science Temple of America, and also Secretary of the Temple right here in New York, the Moorish Science Temple of America, New York. She's also the co-founder of Balanced Body and Beyond, a holistic company where she does consulting and assisting others as well to have more of a holistic approach to life. With that being said, I want to touch on that a little bit. Balanced Body and Beyond, wellness, physicality. Today I'm in the studio. It's actually cold outside. I have a little bit of a runny nose, so pardon your brother.
All is well.
As co-founder of Balanced Body and Beyond, you teach a holistic approach to wellness. Can you speak to just the true nature of well-being and what must healing address mind-wise, body-wise, and spiritually in order to make us more responsible?
Well, first, you said mind, body, and spirit. It should be spirit first.
Okay. Stand correct.
It should be spirit first. Reason being, when inside is right, a healing starts.
Mm.
And you may not see it right away with the physical eyes, but it's internal. The mind, the body will follow. Growing up as a young child in Haiti, I didn't see people taking a lot of pills. Mm-hmm. Ones would go sit by the water. They would ever go sit on the porch, just relax and be peaceful. And coming here and America here on this side of America, the United States in America, we see a lot of Western medicine, things that some of them have a purpose. It's not always the best. The reason I say that is a lot of these traditional medicines that they have here in Western medicine, they have side effects. If I meditate, what's the negative side effect to that?
Well, all right, but let me just kind of take the other view for a moment. There are people who those medications are meant for.
Yes.
I think the real issue, and I've come to this realization, the issue is not a pill. The issue is, and like you said, spirituality. So our priorities are off, right?
Yes.
So the mind perspective, if we can get people to now start to realize that they're more coming from a slavery being more mental, mm-hmm. The issue is we're not really thinking for ourselves.
Yes.
If what you said you observed in Haiti, you saw certain things coming here in the mainland, It's different. But there are those who can argue that certain people need the medication.
Yes.
With us being melanated people, we might not, because even vitamin D, we can get vitamin D from the sun.
Yes.
So the holistic approach is, how do you get your vitamin D, for instance?
Vitamin D.
No, I'm just saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of speak more to that aspect, because you tell certain people not to take their medication, you're going to make an enemy.
You never tell people not to take their medication. What you do
Not
is,
that I'm saying you're saying that.
yes,
Right?
yes. What we do is, it's first have a conversation with them. Sit down. What are you taking? Why are you taking these things? You have to know what you're taking and why. A lot of people go to the doctor and they tell the doctor, oh, I have this symptom and I have that symptom. And the doctor will prescribe something. Then they'll go back to the doctor and say, well, that medication you gave me is giving me this. I need something else. It's all mental. It's I call it the lazy way out.
Mm-hmm.
If we stop and think for ourselves, and in conjunction at times with the doctor, we can get better treatments. You can have a better approach. You can combine the Western medicine with holistic treatments.
Okay.
You can do that. And you can even get to the point where you're away from the Western medicine and you're just doing the holistic treatments. But it's a process.
So the process is to get one's back to thinking again.
Absolutely.
And understanding what caused the disease.
Yes.
The lack of ease in the body in
Right.
the first place.
And most of the problems are just circulation.
Wow.
Circulation. And circulation starts up here.
There's a lot of names for circulation these days. Right? A lot of names.
Yes.
Right? A lot of names.
Circulation, yes.
That's right.
Lack of circulation is cause of most of these diseases that
Wow.
ones have. Lack of circulation.
Mentally.
That's
Spiritually.
the first. Spiritually.
And it manifests in the body.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's deep.
Yes, it does. That's where it shows up.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hide it when it's showing up in the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I was a client of yours. What would you say to me, Dave?
I'd have to find out what's going on with you.
Okay. So let's say I come in and I said, you know what? I don't need to put myself out there like that, but like, let's say I say, I need to gain some weight.
Okay.
What would you suggest?
I'd
I have a
ask-
hard time maintaining a higher body weight.
I'd have to find out what your diet's like. What's your lifestyle like? What are you eating? You can gain weight and it can be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just gain weight for the sake of gaining weight, because there's a lot of stuff that you can eat out there to gain weight and it's not benefiting your physical body. So your eating patterns, how many times a day are you eating? How often are you eating? Like I said, what exactly are you eating? You don't want to sit there and eat a plate of meat.
Okay.
Yes, you're going to put on weight, but how is it benefiting your entire being? It's not going to benefit your entire being. You need the vegetables, you need the fruit, you need the water. You need to still exercise. And exercise doesn't mean that you have to go outside and run 3 miles. You can just take a brief walk, 20, 30 minutes. Keep the circulation going.
Keep the circulation going.
So that's right.
All right. So could be that I have a high, what they call a high metabolism?
Absolutely. And you're blessed if you have a high metabolism. It's fine. You can eat more than somebody with a slower metabolism, and your body will use it faster, and it's okay. At some point, when the metabolism starts to slow down a little bit, and we know as we age, metabolism does slow down a bit, and we're like, wait a minute, what's going on? I used to be able to eat a whole pizza pie, and now if I eat a pizza pie, not only am I gaining cholesterol, I'm gaining a belly.
Yeah, belly.
Getting a
So that's the
belly.
only place that people are gaining weight these days.
Most men.
Ooh.
Men, that's where they gain most of their weight.
Okay.
Women, it kind of moves all around. So men, I think, have an advantage over women in that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now, brothers, if you want to keep your six pack, hey, sister's saying, hey, we got to walk more. We got to do more exercise.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So again, that is Balanced Body and Beyond. You do consulting.
Yes, I do.
All right. What's the website?
balancedbodybeyond.com.
All right, now.
Mhm.
There you go. There you have it. With that being said, entrepreneurship and self-determination, many people see entrepreneurship only as income generation,
Mhm.
a means to make money, right?
Mhm.
How do you see entrepreneurship as an expression of self-determination, accountability, and national uplift rather than individual gain?
If I'm doing entrepreneur just for myself, I'm going to be by myself.
Mm.
Who wants that? I've done a lot of different MLM businesses, and we always speak about, we want to help each other. We want to help people, but help people how? If you're not sure of who you are, if you're not on a stable, steady foundation, and you're not able to help yourself, you can't reach out and help somebody else. You have to be disciplined in all things. And to help other people, you just reach out, you help one person. It's such a good feeling, when you do, like me, when I do the consultations and things like that, and people take my advice and they try whatever needs to be done for them, and they gain, the results they were looking for. That's where the money is, if you will.
Mhm.
Not money as in monetary value, but it's an uplifting feeling
Okay.
when you help somebody, genuinely help somebody,
Okay.
not looking for the money.
Mhm.
Money doesn't make a man. It really doesn't. Or a woman. Doesn't make a man or a woman.
Indeed, indeed.
When you reach out to your brothers and your sisters and you genuinely want to help them and you sincerely keep in contact, you have to be in their lives.
But you're touching on something, and I get what you're saying. Balance, body, and beyond.
Mhm.
There's a certain level of balance that we need in the world right now.
Yes.
And I'm just going to use again the example you gave earlier to make the point, because many of us have seen it, where we see children in society and they're behaving in a manner that's just not wholesome,
Yes.
right? So for us to have self-determination and even just the whole entrepreneurial spirit and how you're saying it, it's not about just making money, because a lot of times people make money but their nation don't benefit,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It doesn't come back to the community. It bounces out of the community.
Mhm.
And also they might have a big home, a big car, a lifestyle that might be pleasing, but when it all is said and done, if the money is removed from them, it goes back to the economy that they were building.
Yes.
It doesn't stay in their community.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So a part of what you're building, the nation, the Moors, your society, is an example.
Absolutely.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Building the society, we're building it now. And it's going to take a village. So we have these bonds that we built with each other. And you'll often hear people say,
When you say bonds, you mean financial bonds? Or
bonds of affection.
So bonds of affection.
Bonds of affection.
So which one was first, financial bond or bonds of affection?
No, definitely bonds of affection.
So that's a part of that divinity you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's deep.
Because in that divinity, you're building trust.
Oh, that's also a money term.
That's it.
Are you getting this? That's also a money term. Trust is also a money term.
That's
So
right.
Trust is a divine order?
Yes, it is.
Wow. I hope y'all heard that.
Yes, it's divine order.
So we mentioned bond.
Yes.
We mentioned trust.
Yes.
But most people today in society think that's something tangible from the perspective of what they're chasing, what's on Wall Street.
That will change.
You're saying that originally was what a part of how we're supposed to be?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
That's how our ancestors lived. And as you said, we have to come back to that remembrance, that divinity.
Mm-hmm.
We're royalty, and we've forgotten that. And we must, as members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, teach that again to everyone who is ready to receive, those who want to listen. Sometimes they don't even have to be a member right away.
Well,
You can just build.
Well, let's say this. because the show is rightfully called Universal Pathways.
Mhm.
Everything you're saying is universal.
Absolutely.
So is it exclusive just to Moors?
No way.
Do Moorish Americans only teach to Moors?
No,
Is your business only for Moors?
absolutely not.
Okay.
For those who need are in need, you have to assist everyone. You don't look at someone and say, oh, you're not part of the temple, or you're not a good human being. I have to stay neutral. Stay neutral at all times. That's law. That's part of divine law.
Okay.
I have to be neutral and assist whoever asks for it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Kind of remind me of the thought to say that we reap what we sow, and it might, most of the time we hear that around religious circles,
Yes.
right? But it's really a universal principle.
Yes.
Whatever you put out there comes back to you.
That's right.
So our younger members of society needs to see people who look like us, or people in general, building businesses that they themselves can benefit from.
That's right. So they can have their race pride. They can see and be encouraged to know that the future is bright, that it doesn't have to be what they're seeing right now, that there are those that are concerned and those that are out there doing the work to leave a better place for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
A better place. All right. Speak also to just the stewardship and leadership, because again, that mentorship and leadership award that you're going to be receiving, and just being a woman in general. You lead by example. We all should, in spaces where women specifically, right, often carry both visible and invisible labor.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is that what you see and that which people don't see a lot of times.
Yes.
Right? What does righteous leadership look like for women today, especially those balancing family, business, and spiritual duties such as yourself?
Righteous leadership. To be honest, I didn't even see myself as I'm a leader.
What?
You understand? I was just doing what I naturally do. So I was just like, oh, leadership. I'm like, what does that mean? Mentorship. Growing up at a very young age, say my 15, 16 years old, I was mentoring children. I didn't even know that's what it was called. I was helping them. I used to do like a little summer school program at my aunt's house. Whoever needed help, if they summer school, you go into summer school, you'd come over and I would do the work with you. And I would teach you whatever you needed to, so you could move on to the next grade. And my aunt, she was like, oh my goodness, that's what you're doing? She goes, oh, I have a couple of children for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I didn't know mentorship,
The
tutoring,
labels.
all the
Yes.
different labels, labels for me, I don't really vibe too much with labels. And I don't see myself the way people see me. Maybe that's what the thing is, because I just do what I do. And this is how I've always been. It's not a matter of, do this so that you can be called a leader. No, I'm just being myself.
But you see, a part of that is very profound. Leadership in this instance is the example, the prototype. What ones would want to attain to. So clearly, at an early age, it was seen inside of you, or in just how you demonstrate. Like you said, the divinity happens within. So even the adults around you observed that, so you could have been an example to others.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good thing. So many times we don't see ourselves.
Yes.
I don't see myself. You know what I mean? Recently I had to ask, am I good? As far as just being able to be more presentable. But again, as a woman, it is very important for us to have examples. For instance, today you're wearing a turban, you're wearing a very beautiful garb, right? We don't see that in everyday life.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm wearing a fez. We don't see that in everyday life.
Yes.
What are some of the customs of Moorish Americans as far as how they dress, and why is it important for us now to present ourselves in the public the way we dress now?
In the public, I can speak
And
to whatever it is. Yeah. I can speak to what it is that I do. I'm very proud. I'm a proud Moorish American.
Okay.
And everywhere I go, there's a turban on my head. Some would say that when they see me walking, I look as if my head is always up high. And I don't notice that about myself. And I'm like, oh, okay. Moorish American women, we dress modestly.
Okay.
You know, we're not out there trying to advertise the body. The body is just a tool. So we dress modestly. We speak in intelligent tones. We stay peaceful. You will have instances where ones will attempt to have you step out of who you really are. And you just have to just be still in that moment. Amongst the chaos, still be still.
Mm-hmm.
Just always be still. And for me, it's an inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes when people say things to me, they'll say derogatory things and they'll say things that are out of character and things that are vulgar. And I will just stand there and smile and let them finish talking. Oh, you're done? Okay. You know what? I'm going to go this way, and maybe after you calm down, we'll talk again. Peace. Just stay peaceful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. There you have it. Stay peaceful. And it's interesting you say stay peaceful, because that's one of the foundational principles.
That's right.
You know, I think it's been said that, you know, the greetings, assalamu alaikum,
Alaikum salam.
return peace to the individual, right?
Yes.
So is that peace just with people, or just peace in general with everything?
Oh, no, that's peace with everything. Peace with your entire environment, peace with the animals, peace with the elements, and just be at peace. And the peace is not, like I said, it's not external, it's internal. And just to be okay with whatever's going on around, and just trust and know within yourself that all is truly well.
Okay.
Yeah, all is truly well. And as far as, you know, the women, the ones that are invisible and the visible ones, you know, they're all doing their thing. And I know that women, once they receive encouragement, you can't stop them. You cannot stop them. Once they just need it from one person, from one sister, one brother, they become unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Wow. Mothers are our first teacher.
Yes.
And as a mother of two sons, should us brothers feel left out if women now are rising?
Absolutely not. You should be happy.
Should be happy?
You should be happy.
Speak to that.
Women, the sisters are getting things done. You know, as I said, once we get the encouragement and the support is very important, from the brothers, from sisters as well. We get support. We can't stop. We just, it's in us, you know, to be nurturers.
What specifically that's inside of women?
Oh, we're the ones nurturing the seeds.
Yeah, but what specifically?
For me, it's...
In other words, just tap into what it is, because you said the divinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have two sons.
Yes.
There's something about mothers that's inside of mothers, and that's really what I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in your two sons? What do you expect from your two sons? What do you teach your two sons?
I teach my sons, and I've always taught them to love and not to hate. Don't hate. Don't say you hate anything. That's such a strong word, such an ugly word to me. Hate. What are you hating? When they were little, oh, I don't like to eat this, I don't like to eat that. Try it. And then you can say if you don't like it. Teach them to honor women, to raise women up, to think that how you would want someone to treat your mother is how you treat all women. Always remember that. And to let your word be your bond. And to live a life that is worthy. Trustworthy. It's got to be trustworthy of your being on this planet.
See, that's the money right there.
Yes,
the
trust.
The value.
That's right.
The value that we see in each other as human beings.
Yes.
Wow. mothers have the capability to bring out in their sons and their daughters. I think the daughters get it by default, by the mere fact that they see themselves in their mother. As sons, we need to be reminded that we need to be of support to our sisters in obedience to our mothers and our fathers as well. And thank you for that insight.
Yes.
We're going to go to another commercial. This is Universal Pathways, and today I'm in the studio with Sheikess Emilie Nader-Bey of the United Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish Science Temple of America, New York. She's also the co-founder of Balanced Body and Beyond. We'll be right back after this commercial. I'm your host, Curtis Douglas Hill.
Welcome to Millennium News24, your trusted source for accurate, unbiased news. We're here to bring you the stories that matter most from America and around the world with integrity and a commitment to truth. In today's world, where misinformation can easily spread, having access to reliable news is more important than ever. At Millennium News24, we aim to cut through the noise by delivering clear, fact-based reporting. Whether you're following major events or looking for in-depth analysis, we are here to serve you with transparency and respect for all communities regardless of color, wealth, or religion. This beautiful America was built by the resilience of its people, immigrants, entrepreneurs, doctors, and everyday individuals working together to create something great. It's this spirit that inspires us to provide you with news that's inclusive, honest, and relevant. We believe that informed citizens are the foundation of a strong society, and we strive to give you the knowledge you need to make a difference. From breaking news to insightful features, we bring you comprehensive coverage on politics, economics, health, culture, and much more. We believe that everyone deserves access to the truth, and we are proud to be a part of a global network that connects people through information. Stay informed by following us on your devices, including iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, and Smart TVS. And for global access, we're also available on Horizon Satellite. Visit us at www.millennium24.com or www.millennium24.com to stay updated. At Millennium News24, our mission is to promote unity, understanding, and progress in a rapidly changing world. Join us as we work to inspire positive action through the power of truth. Thank you for watching. Follow us, subscribe, and stay informed.
Welcome back. This is Universal Pathways, and I'm your host, Curtis Douglas Hill. Today I'm in the studio with Sheikess Emilie Nader-Bey of the United Moorish Science Temple of America, and she's also the secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America, New York,
Yes.
co-founder of Balanced Body and Beyond. You mentioned trust, you mentioned bonds,
Yes.
and we basically spoke to the fact that money is not always about the tangible things that we exchange, but it's about the value that we see in each other and how we treat each other.
Yes.
And as a Moorish American, that's a part of the teaching of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and us being examples, not just for ourselves, our children, but also for the world in general. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You emphasize collaboration and trust as foundations for progress. In your experience, what breaks unity and what practice help restores it, and within organizations and communities? Can you speak to that, please?
What breaks unity? Lack of trust or betrayal.
Wow, betrayal is a heavy one.
Betrayal is a heavy one. To restore trust takes time, it takes effort, it takes work, it takes sincerity. All these things can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And here in the Moorish Science Temple of America, that's one of the things that we're teaching. Trust your brother, get counsel from your brothers and sisters, and collaborate in this society that we're looking to build. We're building a society, of better citizens.
Okay.
And that's important. We have to leave that for the children that are here and are yet unborn.
Mm-hmm.
They need to see something built and done and brought up by people that look like them. They need to be encouraged to say, hey, I can do that. I can be part of that. I want to be part of that. And it has to be taught. And, Prophet Nader-Bey came in and he brought us the teachings and he left his footprints clearly cut. So he left us instructions. He left us divine instructions.
All right. I'm going to give a very practical example. So my mic kind of coming off here. Practical example, right? At times, I grew up, and this is just rumor, right? Sometimes we hear rumors growing up. We hear things, and we just don't have the ability, the ability to validate if what was said is true, right? So, like you said, trust. Trust can be broken through rumors. Trust can be broken through slander. It could be broken through just like a lot of things. People hurt people over years. So there would be some need for what? Forgiveness.
Absolutely.
There would be some need for truth, which is clarity.
Yes.
So we still would need to communicate with each other.
Yes.
Right? The Caribbean. Those out of the Caribbean, for instance, we might grow up hearing this. In the mainland, in the States, you might not hear it as prevalent. But for instance, at one point, the lies were being told that Haitians don't get along with Jamaicans. Did you ever hear that?
Yes, I did.
But you're a Haitian and I'm out of Jamaica.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we know clearly that's a lie.
Yes.
But you have ones now, they believe that. They go based on that. And there's a lot of superstition and spookism out there. Right? So there needs to be some sense of communication.
Yes.
And some sense of forgiveness. So what are some of the things now that the Moorish Science Temple of America, your organization, Balanced Body and Beyond, and just what you've been doing, even from your mentorship perspective, that nurtures communication and the ability for us to remember that we're one family beyond the different states that we might be in, as far as Jamaica, Haiti, Brazil, Canada. I'm just naming different states,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The 50 combined state, but each state now, New York is a state,
Yes.
right? To now form IE countries, etc. Can you speak to that sense of what the divisions might have been and what's needed to bring us back together in that unity? Be one people.
Well, as you said, the division comes from lies and gossip and so on and so forth. And from my perspective, if someone tells me something, let's say someone said, oh, you shouldn't be talking to Brother Curtis, he's Jamaican and so on and so forth. I'm like, in my spirit, I know he's a good person. So whatever that person may have told me, I'm going to speak to Brother Curtis. Like, you know what? I heard so and so and so and so and so and so. So we build that trust by communication. I have to communicate with my brothers on a daily basis, and we look for resolutions. You have to have a resolution, and then you can go back and then you can reflect, because as you said, reflection is the business of man, and we all must reflect daily. Some of us do it early in the morning and say, let me see what yesterday was like. What can I do today that's going to make today a better day than yesterday was? But at the end of the day, it's really about communication, and building that communication, we start to understand each other.
It gives us a reference.
Gives you a reference. You begin to understand your brothers and sisters. And you say, all right, you know what? I can work with this person. I see something that we can do together. And, that's the teachings that Prophet Nader-Bey brought us. He says, look, we're not Negro, Black, Colored, or etc. Let's recognize that, proclaim, and then practice.
But you have a very valid point, and I just want to connect it here. Earlier you mentioned that elder said the child was behaving black. So we see that a part of the energy of black is unforgiveness.
Yes.
It comes with a lot of stigma.
Yes.
Because it's a people who's been denationalized.
Yes, it is.
And they feel the hurt of what that is. And they have a hard time even forgiving themselves.
I was just going to say.
Because they're not a part of that nation state that had a divine origin. And the divinity have to do with a higher self. A true essence, blueprint, pattern of who our ancestors were when they civilized nations. And it comes back to what you were saying as a mother, as a woman. the empowerment that you all have as the first teacher, right?
Yes.
So can you just kind of like summarize the show, because clearly you have a significant legacy that you're being built in form of you being a national secretary and a secretary, and also an entrepreneur and mentor to many. For the next generation and just the current generation who are looking to us, looking towards leaders, etc., can you just give us a closing summary from a universal perspective as to what we cannot expect from the Moorish Science Temple of America, the United Moorish Science Temple of America, and just the world in general?
In general, well, the whole thing, it's a foundation that has to be built. The foundation starts with the 5 highest principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And in having those foundations in place, you can start to build more from there. The obedience, the humility, everything that comes with being a good human being, a decent human being, to be a good citizen. The practicals, how you walk, how you behave on a daily basis. How's your walk going? How's your spiritual growth going? How is your interactions with your brothers and sisters? Are you uplifting them or are you pulling them down? We need to uplift each other. And that's what Prophet Nader-Bey brought us. He thought we have to uplift this nation. We each woman unto herself is a nation.
Indeed.
We are raising children, boys, girls, all of them. Sometimes you're raising the neighbor's children and you don't even realize it.
That's so true.
So they see the example of what a mother is supposed to behave like, what a father behaves like, how we're in a village type environment. Not necessarily that we're living next door to each other, but it does say that more should live closer to each other, and that will help build even more of that trust and leave the legacy. Having the mental clarity to say, hey, I'm not feeling well. Let me go speak to Sister Nader-Bey. She could potentially give me something that's going to assist me. And I'm always honored, when someone asks me these type of questions too. What can I do for this? What can I do for that? And just build on that. And you're building the trust. That's that trust that you have to build. Nothing is going to be done unless you build that trust with your brothers and sisters.
Well said. Again, we see here, there's no strange happenings. Law governs all events. The United Moorish Science Temple of America, Non-Sectarian, and the Moorish Science Temple of America, New York. These are organizations that's basically been established by the Prophet Nader-Bey's directives. He is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America since 1913. And it is truly an honor to be in the studio today, hearing what you're saying, and just the words, just to see that the secretaries today are doing just what the Prophet Nader-Bey said, keeping the door open so others can actually now learn how to be their best selves. So the teaching is universal. You live according to the 5 highest principles known to man,
Yes.
which are love, truth, peace, and justice. It is truly an honor to be with you here today in the studio. I'm Curtis Douglas-Ill, and again, presented to you today for the second time, Secretary of the United Moorish Science Temple of America, National Secretary, Sister Emilie Nader-Bey. I trust that our listening audience has been edified. Again, we're here every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Millennium News 24. Thank you so much for listening in. Peace and love to you all.
Peace and love.